This is my favorite washing machine. As good as it isn't perfect, just like my wife. Don't tell her that. Notably, over the years, two things failed about the washing machine, not my marriage, that needed repair. I decided to fix the broken parts instead of replacing the broken parts for two reasons. One, the replacement parts cost hundreds of dollars. I'm really not interested in making either the manufacturer, in this case GE, or the part supplier any richer than they already are. So, saving money is one reason. Reason number two, my repairs, which I intended to be temporary, have been lasting for 18 years in this case. I've been using this washing machine for 15 years. Washing machine is 18 years old. It's been out of use for a number of years. So, in this video I'm going to share with you what failed about this washing machine and what I did about it. Just before we get started, the piece of equipment here is going to be referred to consistently as washing machine, also known as clothes washer, also known simply as washer, but because this piece of item is also a washer, I'm just going to go with washing machine for this whole piece of equipment. Let's get started with the make and model. Similar models will be listed in the video's description box below. I'm going to take you off the tripod. Have a look. See, this is made by GE, Spacemaker. It has a very nice micro switch push button display here with a time showing on it 2.5 cubic feet of drum capacity here. Stainless steel drum, still in flawless condition, not a speck of rust, and the actual make and model is visible on the nameplate hereabouts. So that similar model numbers will be listed in the video's description box below. So, the first item that failed about it within 6 months of its use is the lid. And yeah, the hinge about the lid. So, what failed? The lid now opens and closes fantastically well, but the hinge broke on both sides. I guess it's a communist lid. So on one side the hinge, which is molded, this is injection molded to be one piece with the lid, is intact. Especially important is the flat surface here. I'm going to explain why. So one side is okay, but the other side is not quite okay. Some plastic bits broke out of this hinge, and that means because it's one part with the lid, the whole lid would need replacement. Hundreds of dollars, not going to happen. The reason for it is because the lid is fully functional. Not only it covers the clothes, but also the hinge interacts with the lid switch, and the lid switch enables or disables the washing machine from operating in the first place. So the lid switch, well, I'm just putting it on the stair behind the camera. So the lid switch lives here in this part of the washing machine, and the second half of the hinge, most hinges have two parts typically. The second half of the hinge is attached to the lid. Now this is not the lid, but the frame of the washing machine, this plastic part here. Let me show you how this looks like. So some plastic broken bits are still rattling in there. It is also broken and cracked there, and I'm gonna do absolutely nothing about it, which I have been diligently doing for the last 18 years. So that's also cracked and broken. This piece of plastic item, which goes all around, costs also hundreds of dollars. The lid switch, which is critical, is here. It is a plunger type lid switch, and in order to operate it, this lever needs to be, or lever in some markets, needs to be raised, because on the lid this part of the hinge is intact and this surface here is intact. The lid switch is operated with that part of the hinge, and it's fully functional as is. It closes the circuit, the electrical circuit, and everything is fully functional about this washing machine. Just to get you another idea, here is on a wiring harness a completely different lid switch design from a front loading washing machine, some Bosch that I took apart, and on it there's a different lid switch. It's a pedal type switch. The closing door has a plunger on the edge of the door which operates the lid switch, which closes the circuit. So other repair options include, if the hinge breaks or if it breaks differently, just tie wiring this lid switch to a closed position here where the door is closed and the circuit electrically is closed. That's also an option on that switch, or taping it, or tie wiring or taping. Or another repair option is cutting the wire and tying the two wires together permanently, which also kind of bypasses the safety feature of the lid switch. That's why it's in place, but those are repair options as well. And I chose to do neither one of those because I don't want to cut the wires. I don't want to do any work that I don't absolutely have to. And the broken hinges, as are, they work with that lid switch. The unit is fully functional. This opens, it closes, it doesn't stay in place, it's fall forward and comes out, so it's it's still broken, but it's working electrically, and the opening here can be covered. So that's repair number one. Why is this a repair when I did absolutely nothing? I did troubleshooting, I weighed my repair options, I costed out the parts involved, and I considered the functionality and the safety of operation, and I'm happy with this arrangement as is. As unscientific as is, it works. We'll just go with that. The next part that failed is a water pump. For this I'm gonna have to bear hug the washing machine, and just give me a sec and tip it up. I'm just gonna put it on this rag like so, and tip it forward, thereabouts. The water pump lives here. There's a drain plug there. I have removed the water pump. I'm gonna get you a close-up on it, but this is where it's located. And the water pump is mounted with 3 bolts to a plastic fitting, and the plastic fitting failed and leaked 2 occasions, 2 different spots. Both fixes on that one part have been lasting for 18 years. No, actually, one leak happened about when the washing machine was 4 years old. The second one happened when it was about 7 years old, and so both of them have been lasting since. Let me get you a close-up of what's inside the washing machine here. It needs one more tilt, and it's going to be upside down, or very nearly upside down. There. I'm going to take you off the tripod, and in this corner of the washing machine there are some hoses that are somewhat visible here. 2 pieces of wires. One of them is marked with a tape, so I can plug it back exactly the same way. as it's being taken apart. A second hose there, and there is a third one here, a drain hose there further down there. You can kind of see it in the dark. So there, that's all there is to it, and it mounts with 5 screws. 2 of them are here, 2 more are here, and 1 more is here through that recess there. So 3 screws here and 2 screws there. I'm going to put you back on the tripod, and I'm going to tip up the washing machine, give it another bear hug, like so. There, and here is the water pump with a plastic fitting in front of it. This is the pump itself. It ends here at this line here. The fitting is just this black component. There is a seal between the pump and the fitting right here. The seal is fine, has never failed. This part of the drain plug is exposed at the bottom corner there. This is visible, and in it there's a drain plug here. Looks like this. And here, if I hold it right there, you can see the impeller blades on the motor, on the pump. Well, this is an electric motor, so there you have it. It's fitted with a pump, so now it's a water pump. So this fitting failed twice. What failed about it? Well, you can see my repair there. This white goo is the repair that's been lasting on one spot there. This is a 2-component epoxy glue that I mixed in some epoxy, some hardener, mix it with a screw or a nail and spread it there, as well as spread it on the inside. The inside is quite invisible, but when the fitting is removed, you would be able to see there's some more glue inside. Why was glue necessary here? The 3 hoses that attach here are for, this one is for, wait a sec, now this one is for clean water. Clean water doesn't have silt or abrasive particles in it. The washing machine is being filled, the drum is being filled through this inlet and then goes into the drum here, and then dirty water gets pumped out through the same opening here, through the same hose. The drum is, or the tub is being drained here, and through this opening here the wastewater, the dirty water, is pumped out. Now there is a lint trap in line, but the lint trap doesn't filter out sediment. So when the clothes are really dirty, as in construction or gardening, whatever, there's sand with the clothes, some ingrained or embedded grains of sand, often the, not quite slurry, but the wastewater that's being pumped out and the abrasive particles that are in it, they wore away the wastewater pipe here at the base. Because of the swirling pattern and the direction of rotation, whatever, it's not this side, it's on this side. I think the blades rotate, yeah, this way, and so this is the side that wears away. It's just so designed. It's not that the plastic is substandard or too thin. It could be designed a little thicker at this point, or a different shape. Because it's injection molded, it can be made thicker there, whatever. It got thinner and thinner and thinner, and it started leaking there in a circular, in a C-shape line, without this part becoming flimsy or floppy or moving about. Just a crack line that looked like a crack line but isn't a crack, because the actual plastic about it, plus or minus a ¼ inch here, or plus or minus 5 millimeters or so, abraded away the plastic was missing there, so I built up the plastic's thickness, or replaced it with two-component epoxy outside and inside. So it's been lasting for, let's see, 18 minus 4, yeah, you do the math, that many years. The second failure happened, let me just show you these screws. So 2 screws go there, and 3 screws go 1, 2, and the third one goes here. There was one extra leg here, and that leg broke out after a while. Very similarly, yeah, look at the blistered surface. I tried to heat it up, remelt the plastic, whatever. It wasn't working because there isn't enough plastic remaining to, even with a heat gun or whatever, any source of heat, a butane torch, whatever, there isn't enough plastic to melt it and run it together and close a hairline gap there. So I had to cut it off and completely build it up and fill it with epoxy glue, two-component epoxy glue again. You can see it from the inside. It has to be thin on the inside for the drain plug to still fit through, and so I made it generously thick slash ugly, whatever, on the outside. And both of these repairs have, and this was 7 years into it, and both of these are working fantastically well, just like my marriage. So that's my input on this component. I'm gonna put it back with the remaining 4 screws that I can mount it with, and even with those 4 screws, it's solid enough, it's functioning enough, it's pumping water, it's draining the tub, it's working wonderfully well, and has been lasting since. So those are the 2 issues that failed, and this component also costs hundreds of dollars because this 50-cent fitting with its involved geometry is not available as a one piece. It's available only with the electric motor. Priced for this whole sandwich between $120 to $250 depending on where you look. You may buy it from GE, whatever. Prices vary greatly between $120 and $250 roughly dollars. And I thought my $50 cent would last, I don't know, a few months, a few weeks, and the time kept going, so they're lasting. And I'm not going to replace it, not planning to replace it. It's fine as is, it's working. So those were my repair options, and those were my dilemmas. That's what I did about both of these situations and the washing machine. Still my favorite washing machine, but as good as it isn't perfect. But with these repairs, it's still working. Thank you very much for watching.